What's going on, guys? It's Chad. What is this angle this guy has? Holy shit, what the fuck is that? That heady is disgusting.
Advanced UAV online.
Wait, he's dead ass cheating. The dude is legit walling. He's cheating. Look. I was just thinking that, like, hey, maybe this guy's just an AR main and he just anchors all day. But no, he's literally walling. He's either walling or has like a constant, like, advanced UAV or something like that. There's no reason to shoot where he does. So tomorrow, I think the Xbox showcase is on. I think the biggest thing that's supposed to be at the event is all that Starfield information. Now, while I have high hopes for Starfield, it always seems like these giant, like, expansive, open world space games. I think most people are wary just because of things like No Man's Sky and things like that, where it's like such a big project and such a big idea that, like, it usually is not executed well. The thing about Starfield planning to do like these big open space things, like the thing is like space is kind of empty. Then again, it has literally everything, but it has also like a lot of nothing. Does that make sense? So realistically, releasing a game where you're in space and there's pretty much nothing to do and the game isn't really finished is kind of realistic. There's so much nothing in order to reach the something that there is basically nothing. I'm generally a fan of Bethesda games. I'll say that I mostly just like their Elder Scrolls series. I'm not a big Fallout fan. I don't really like the art. I don't really like the setting. I don't really like the combat. Now, I'm not saying that it's not possible for them to go and make a, you know, a good space RPG kind of game, but obviously making video games is hard. They have Forza, they have this one other game called Avowed, which is like a first-person RPG thing. I mean, visually looks nice, I just don't know how long, you know, it doesn't look bad or anything, but, you know, it's another solid title, nothing insane. Hellblade 2, Hellblade 1, I didn't mind the game, even though it felt like the end of the game took forever, I remember. Like, the game literally could have ended, like, multiple hours before it actually ended. Other than that, I mean, Hellblade's pretty good. Fable is one that I've been looking forward to. Fable is a game of my childhood. Fable is a game that I really haven't been able to play in a really long time, but I remember specifically really enjoying my time playing the game. I always really enjoyed those games about, like, I always thought, at least back then, that it was, like, really cool that my character's decisions could actually affect overall how my character looked and how people, like, perceived me and stuff. Now, obviously, a lot of games have that at this point, so I'm really curious to see where they go with Fable in general. Fable 1 and 2 were great. I don't remember playing any other Fable, and it's been a long time since we've gotten a new Fable game, so really hope they actually do a good job on this. I think they're gonna show some Cyberpunk shit, which I'm actually kind of excited for because I have my own playthrough on Cyberpunk. I haven't finished it. I just kind of come back and forth to it, and that's fine. I definitely don't have a lot of progress done, that's for sure. Speaking of progress, though, today I'm probably gonna end up unlocking tier 4 over on Diablo 4. At the moment, I'm like level 60 or something. This renown grind on Diablo 4 is burning a hole in my brain. I've also made like 99% of my progress completely solo, so it just feels good. It feels like it's mine, you know? They leaked some Persona stuff. Mostly, I only like Persona for its music. Sorry, Persona fans. The music is great. I appreciate greatness when I see or hear it. Also, now people have a lot of Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay out. This is super, by the way. Probably my most watched Mortal Kombat YouTuber out there. Fighting games in general. These guys have uploaded a whole bunch of like gameplay stuff. Some pros and shit have gotten a moment with it. I saw that most people only got like 30 minutes with it. So obviously there's a lot of potential there. So obviously, you know, not everything is figured out, but the combos that I've seen already, these combos look as long, if not longer, than Mortal Kombat X's, which is something I was literally begging and pleading for. So we got all those games. They'll all likely be really solid. I think Hellblade's a really solid game. Starfield will hopefully, you know, be a hit. I know, like, there's a whole lot of people that still, like, talk about this whole, like, console war thing. It's silly. Xbox has good games. PlayStation has good games. They all got their own bangers. But it's such a petty, boring, like, talking point at this point. Like, it really doesn't even matter what console you think is better or whatever. It's just such an old argument. UFC event, Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. That's on tonight. As you guys know, Amanda Nunes is the GOAT. You know, she did have that really embarrassing loss. She ended up avenging it, and it being a landslide that time around. The point to where people would not even want to see a rematch again. Irene Aldana is super legit in terms of, like, her striking. Irene Aldana is really dangerous, but again, it just comes down to this thing where it seems like whenever people are hit with Amanda's power, everything goes out the window. Now, maybe Amanda will be overconfident in her striking, and she'll sit there and just try to straight up have a boxing match with Aldana, which is probably the worst thing that Amanda could do, in my opinion. I think Amanda has, like, in general, just a physicality advantage. I think if she makes it dirty, if she makes it ugly, you know, she's gonna throw her bombs the way that she usually does, but, you know, some clinching, some grappling in there, I think will also help. But when they're standing up, I'm gonna be holding my breath. On the ground, it's a little odd because we haven't seen Amanda grapple in a while. Like, really, like, have her game plan be the grapple because she knows how good her hands are. She knows how powerful she is on the feet. Everybody knows that as well. But Aldana's strength, at most, is definitely on her feet. Her boxing is the best. Her boxing is her biggest weapon, so if you can kind of smother that boxing a little bit or find some sort of counter or a hole somewhere that just works, that could potentially just put Aldana away real quick with, like, one big shot, I don't know. How many times has Aldana been finished by strike? Okay, she's been TKO'd twice. All of the other losses she has are decisions. But she doesn't get finished often, and she hasn't been finished since, like, 2015. So it seems like she's much more defensive defensively improved since that point. She's much better. So her stand-up defense might be good enough to deal with Amanda's, you know, overwhelming power. Maybe she'll just be really safe and try to have Amanda punch herself out or something. And then she can, like, try to use her boxing pedigree to actually put some work on Amanda. I think it's a good fight. A lot of people think Aldana's a sacrificial lamb, but since watching Shevchenko lose, anything's possible. Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. Genuinely don't know who's gonna win this fight. If I said either of them, it's straight up a guess. They're all guesses, but my quote educated guess on this whole thing, every single time I try to imagine this fight playing out in my head, taking into account like previous fights, who they've beaten, who they faced, the level of competition, what was their last fight, what do they look like now, how was weight cut, a whole bunch of things go into it. And at the end of it all, I don't ever have a clear answer. Both of these guys can be hurt on the feet. Both of them can finish people on the feet. Both of them can be finished in the grappling. Beneil Dariush is heavily underestimated, but I'll say it myself, I heavily underestimated Beneil Dariush when he was at Gamrot, and I'm afraid that I might be underestimating him again. This is not a bad matchup at all for Beneil. Usually people that aren't afraid of Charles grappling, that can actually deal with it and defend, have a lot more success against Charles. But just because Charles is a grappler doesn't mean that he can't get submitted. He has quite a few submission losses. Now, a lot of them come due to just him getting, you know, hurt and then submitted or something like that, like the Makhachev fight. But I could totally see a world where Beneil ends up hurting him on the feet, going to the ground, and finishing him with a submission again. But I could also see a situation where Beneil just gets absolutely destroyed in round one from the hands and feet and the striking, the Muay Thai of Charles. Also, at the same time, though, I keep underestimating Beneil's strike. He's been able to win in the stand-up against absolute stand-up demons. He's not just a submission guy. The dude is dangerous everywhere. The fight's impossible to predict. What I will predict, though, there will absolutely be a finish. I'll be very, very surprised if this goes to a decision. Is this 3 rounds or 5 rounds? I don't think that necessarily matters, but not that I think either of their gas tanks can't handle it or something. It's just even less likely if it's a full 5 rounds that this shit goes to decision. These guys take risks, and these guys capitalize. What else? Mike Mallet versus Adam Fugit. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. I remember I had a friend in school who had a similar last name. I made fun of him all the time and just purposefully mispronounced, so I wasn't sure. Mike Mallet, literally every single one of his finishes are by first round stoppage. I think he's gonna do that to Adam Fugit. Adam's a tough guy, but I think Mike is a really dangerous dude. That's just my take. Dan 50K E-Gang versus Nate Landwehr. Nate the Train. I actually think Nate the Train wins this. He has a lot of mileage, lots of damage. He has really exciting fights. But I think just Nate Landwehr has the potential for more of an upside at this point. I'll watch every single one of his fights, though. I just think that Nate probably has a bit more momentum at the moment. Miranda Maverick against Jasmine Jasavicius. I always ride with Miranda Maverick in general. She's just incredibly solid. She got robbed on the whole Macy Barber thing. Legitimately lost to Erin Blanchfield, but Erin Blanchfield is legit. Erin Blanchfield is a potential champion. I just think Miranda is just a more solid fighter, so I got her on that fight. Zahabi versus Arichi Lang. That's, I don't even know. I'm gonna go with Arichi Lang. And then Nasruddin Imavov versus Chris Curtis. I'm gonna go with Chris Curtis on that. So I got Nunes, Dariush, Mike Mallet, Nate Landwehr, Chris Curtis, and Miranda Maverick, yeah. Also, I think in a few days, this coming week, the new season for Call of Duty, which, you know, it's kind of whatever. Everybody's pretty much ready for the next Call of Duty or whatever. There's still no alternative out. Please, X-Defiant, save us all. Battlefield's pretty fun. Titanfall is great and stuff, but there's really nothing that has taken the place of Call of Duty, so, but fuck all that shit. Layers of Fear, I believe, also comes out on Thursday, the day after that update. So I'm probably gonna make a video on the Layers of Fear. I don't know if it's like a remaster or a remake or like a reboot or something. I don't know. I'm under the impression it's just like the first game, but like overhauled, remastered and stuff. It just looks 10 times better. I had already avoided the first Layers of Fear, and I'm currently avoiding Amnesia the Bunker. Now, it's also very likely that I won't be able to finish an entire playthrough on Layers of Fear either, but I'm gonna play it.